This is the plaintiff, Ronald McKeithen. He says he and the defendant are feuding neighbors who are at odds because her pit bull bit him in the right calf, and the defendant doesn't seem to think it's her responsibility to pay his medical bills. If you ask him, this is an open and shut case. The defendant was cited by animal control, and he wants the $5,000 he's owed here and now. This is the defendant, Loretta Sayers. She says the plaintiff is claiming her 12-year-old dog bit him in the leg, but the guy never went in an ambulance, never mentioned any medical bills, and she thinks this whole thing's one bogus lie. The plaintiff's a serial suer who also sued his landlord for a so-called fall and lost, and now is coming after her and her poor old dog. She is accused of failing to control her pit bull.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff says the defendant's pit bull bit him and she won't pay the meds. But the defendant says she doesn't buy that her 12-year-old pooch did the damage. It's the case of this old pit.
Thank you, Douglas. Ronald McKeithen,
Yes,
you are
ma'am.
suing your neighbor Loretta Sayers for $5,000 in damages because according to you, her pit bull got loose and bit you, correct?
That's correct.
What happened?
Well, it was on a Thursday afternoon. I was taking our garbage is picked up on Friday morning, so I set my cans out. I turned to walk back to my apartment, and I looked, and there her dog came up behind me, and he bit me on the calf.
Okay,
And
and
then-
now I have a few questions. You live in an apartment building?
A duplex.
In a duplex. And does she live on the other side of that same duplex?
No, she lives across the fence in another duplex.
Okay. Did you know her dog? Had you ever seen her dog?
Not that particular one, no.
How many dogs does she have?
I really don't know.
How many dogs did you have?
2.
Okay. And this particular dog was a?
Pit bull.
Okay. And you're from Broward County, Florida, the next county up? Dade still doesn't allow pit bulls, right?
Correct.
Still has a ban. All right. So now did you even notice the dog before the dog bit you or no?
I didn't know he was coming up behind me.
So the
no.
first thing you felt was the bite?
Yes.
Oh, wow. All right. And did it lock on?
No, not the first time. When he bit, I jerked like that. He let go. I turned around. He come and latched onto me again.
Yeah.
Then's when he really held, and I drawed my fist back like to hit him, and he let go and ran back in her yard.
So he left without you having to hit him?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have pictures of the injury?
Yes.
And was the defendant around?
No, they were not at home.
How'd your pit bull get out?
I guess the front door wasn't shut all the way with the latch when my son came home from school, so he must have not shut the door all the way. So
Shut the door all the way. Does the pit bull open the door?
I don't know how the door got opened. That's the whole thing. I don't know.
Was your kid home?
He probably came home from school and then
How
didn't
old's your
shut
kid?
the door all the way. 12.
Right. Okay, these pictures were taken when?
Saturday. That's the scar
What day did it
I'm left
happen?
with. This happened back
Oh, you
in-
mean this Saturday they were taken?
Yes.
Okay, so this scar's on your leg now?
Yes.
May I see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you take pictures when it happened?
want them to
Go ahead and
go?
roll
Yes,
up your
ma'am.
pant leg and like, did you take pictures when it happened or
I
no?
didn't, animal control did.
Do you have them? Okay.
Right
Okay.
there's where he latched on.
How long ago did this happen?
This was back in November. And this is where he first got me, and then he let go. This is where he latched on, and I drove my fist back.
What does the doctor say about whether that's going to stay there?
Well, he said I would have a scar.
You're going to keep a scar there?
Yeah, I'm scarred.
All right. What ended up happening after the dog? Did the dog puncture?
Yeah,
Okay. Do you have the medical records?
I dialed 911.
Okay. Did you know whose dog it was?
Yes,
Okay.
because we'd had problems with our pit bull getting loose, and I worked at the marina across the street, security. And he got loose and was running over there one day.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd had problems before. Now this is from animal control.
You know, of all the dogs to get loose, like a pit bull's not a good idea.
I don't know.
So had your pit bull gotten out before?
Once before.
Yeah, it sure has. This is about the second or third time.
Okay.
This is the bill from EMS where I called down, dialed 911.
Okay, so did an ambulance take
Yes.
you?
There's-
Okay, and then you went to the emergency room, and what
Yes.
did they do for you there?
They gave me a tetanus shot.
That kind of hurts, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, now, when did you talk to her? Did she ever come to see you to see how you were?
She came over one time the following day after
Twice.
the incident.
I came home.
Hold on, ma'am, it's not your turn.
Okay.
And what
And
happened?
her and her son, and she said, son said, well, how are you? I said, well, and I showed him. She said, well, you're going to sue me, aren't you? I said, all I want is my medical bills and all paid. She walked away. Since then, no conversation. No,
That was it? That wasn't like, how you feeling or
that's
whatever?
it. And that's it.
Are pit bulls more aggressive than the average dog?
They may be slightly. I don't think that should stop people from being able to own them. You just have to be more conscious of their behaviors.
If the dog's 12 years old at that point, do you think it's pretty docile?
No, I mean, it
A
depends.
12-year-old dog can bite.
Yeah, it depends on how they were trained from when they were little puppies, you know?
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
How did you find out what had happened?
I came home from work, ma'am, and the ambulance and the police were in my driveway. They said the neighbor got bit by the dog. Can you please put the dog inside? Because the dog was standing there next to the police. I said, absolutely. So I walked over. I said to the gentleman, I said, are you okay? He says, yes. And his leg was bleeding, and he said he needed 3 or 4 stitches. I said, okay, sir. So I guess he said he went to the hospital. An hour later, I walked over to his house with my son that same night. He says, don't worry, and I'm an animal lover. He says, I won't sue you, just pay for my hospital bill.
Did you?
I get this letter from my landlord that he was filing a false claim
What's a
that he
false
fell
claim?
on the property
That
of
he
my house.
fell on the
Instead
property of
of
your
saying
house?
he got bit by the dog, here's the letter, Your
Man, you're
Honor,
good. I got you. You stay with
that he fell on the property. But I was waiting for him to bring a hospital bill to me, but he did not. He filed that claim that he fell on my property.
I didn't file a claim.
It's right there with his
Hold on,
handwriting.
hold on. This is like a form letter. I think your lawyer was like just sending a form letter and put in the above reference slip and fall. That must be the cases they handle are slip and falls. And the lawyer sends a letter to your landlord trying to get the name of your landlord's insurance. But that would be appropriate because
But it mentions a slip and fall.
yeah, but that's an error of the lawyer. I can tell you this because I know what this is. It's a
Okay,
form letter that they
okay.
have in their computer, and then instead of changing the word slip and fall, this lazy lawyer just didn't catch the error and didn't
Okay.
put dog bite or whatever. But in any event, so he sends it to your landlord, but I guess at some point you decide not to sue the landlord.
Ma'am, we did, but their place is in foreclosure. He didn't have anything either. Nobody's got anything.
Right. All right.
Right.
Well, what's your defense to paying his medical bills? I don't even.
I have no problem paying it. I even said to him, I'll be happy to pay your
So
hospital
then why didn't
bill.
you go see him and say, show me your hospital bills?
But I went to see him that night. He said he wasn't going to sue me as long as you pay the hospital bill.
Okay.
But we live next door. He's never walked over and said, Loretta, here's
Okay,
my
so I guess
hospital
once you
bill."
saw the attorney told you I'll handle it.
Yes, ma'am.
But then the attorney at some point said it's not worth pursuing and you decided to go to small claims. Why didn't you just send her the hospital bills before you sued? Just curious.
We were told that they weren't going to pay anything.
What I don't understand, if it's in foreclosure, isn't there insurance on the property? Wow.
According to the attorneys.
Yeah. Whatever, you got cited for it? It was found valid in a hearing on January 4th. Where's the dog?
The dog is put to sleep.
When did you put the dog to
We
sleep?
put the dog to sleep in February.
Okay. After the, did they order you to do it?
Absolutely not.
No, they hid.
I put him to sleep on my own will because he was old and he was sick.
How was he sick?
He was getting sicker. He was old. He was 12 years old.
He was
Like
old.
I said, I think that he was startled that
That what? That
he
a
never
person
bit
was walking-
anybody. No, but he never bit anybody before that. It was just the right thing to do.
All right. So what is your defense? Because I'm looking at your defense, and one of the things you said was he had a little scratch. He never got in the ambulance, but you saw that scar now.
How many stitches did you get, sir?
Are you talking to him directly?
No, I'm just saying because when he came home, he sat there and drank a beer, and he looked like he had a Band-Aid on his leg, like there was nothing even wrong.
Okay.
That's why I looked at him. I said, sir, I'll be happy to
pay the hospital bill.
Okay, well, you know that the ambulance alone is $800.
That's fine.
Okay, and then his copay, which is all he's suing for, he's not suing you for all the stuff his insurance paid for the ER. The ER visit, I'm sure, was several thousands, but his insurance paid. So what he's suing for in terms of what he's out of pocket on medicals is $1,504.02. Okay, whatever he said that day, he's not bound by. I've got to look at this case and just decide what is this case worth. Certainly, he's out his day of pay, his medical bills, his follow-up medication, and then the bulk of his lawsuit is pain and suffering. There is pain and suffering involved with getting bit by a pit bull and having to get a tetanus shot. Is it like getting bit by a shark? No, but it's like getting bit by a pit bull. I mean, has he ever bit you?
No.
Have you ever been bit by a pit bull?
No.
Okay, it hurts. I haven't been, but I hear cases like this all the time, and it hurts. Plus, there's a scar involved, right? That's he's got for the rest of his life. You know, that's worth something. You know, the bottom line is that if you have a 12-year-old child who leaves the door open repeatedly, I guess, I don't know, then you either have an impenetrable fence around your property or you don't have a pit bull. Or several other breeds that are known as biters. You just can't. You don't have that luxury. So I am finding in favor of the plaintiff in this case for the amount of his medicals, the amount of his lost wages, and an additional $1,500 in pain and suffering for a total judgment in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $3,004.02. That's my judgment. Good luck, folks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So the plaintiff gets paid for the pit bull bite. So step on in here. You understand this verdict? You agree
Yes, I
with
do.
it? You agree with it at this point?
Not wholeheartedly.
Well, what part do you disagree with?
Because he's lying about the big scar on his leg.
He just showed it in the courtroom.
That's not even from a dog
What's
bite.
that from? Who
Anybody
bit
can
him?
show it. That's not a scar of a bite. That's a
No.
black and blue. There
was a
wasn't
black
even
and
a
blue?
bite mark.
Really?
Yeah, in all honesty.
Have you taken a good close look at that thing?
Yes, I have.
I mean, how close have you gotten to his calf?
Absolutely. He won't even tell you how many stitches he got because he got 4 stitches.
So you think he's making this whole thing up just to get money out of you?
Well, if somebody offered to pay the hospital bill, I would have walked over and
All right.
handed the hospital bill.
All right. All right, so step on in here. What do you think of your neighbor now?
Well, I just want to coexist, but, I don't want any problem. As long as I'm an animal lover. I used to be in the greyhound business.
Yeah.
And,
You think she likes you?
well, personally, I don't care. I mean, right's right and wrong's wrong.
Right.
And
She says that scar you showed in the courtroom is just a black and blue mark.
Well, the judge didn't agree. That's the bottom. What she thinks don't matter.
But you have to coexist and you have to do your best with her.
Exactly.
All right, Harvey?
If you got an out-of-control dog in your neighborhood and the owner won't deal with it, call your local Department of Animal Control because they can.